Hello and welcome back to the bottom. My name is Beast. Today we're back with Sky Full of Stars. Last time we finished the Korona-Route, which is nice, and this time we're gonna be starting with Korona-Route, which I'm somewhat hesitant to do because she feels like a little sister character, and overall her character just hasn't done much appeal. I'm more neutral towards it. It just makes me feel like, I don't feel like it. Also, this is gonna be a shorter part because, yeah, it's almost 9 p.m. I accidentally started an hour late, so, yeah, that's ever so slightly in the way of me making a longer video, but hey, sometimes it just do be like that. Anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and start with Corona. As usual, the little, and then the little roulette at the beginning, Koki and Kaoruko kissing on the right, on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have Rei embracing Michiru and Misaki. That was her name, wasn't it? I'm not being a retard right now, right? I almost said retard, like an actual fucking retard. Anyways, also I'm currently in the middle of downloading the Ditzy Demons on Double Me, so there's that. No, this doesn't have to fucking... Hold on. Yeah, there really isn't anything there. I'll actually have to look up in Visual Novel Database. You know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Anyways, meet with Korona. Well, Korona asked first. I felt bad about turning Urihime down, but I was going to have to say yes to Korona. I was in the middle of writing a response to Urihime to turn her down when I thought of my conversation with Korona on the bus. She said she wanted my advice. Could I really help her with something so important? I really think I was a good enough student to be giving out advice to younger students that had better future prospects than I did. And just make sure it's clear to her when we do talk. It was nice to have somebody to talk to about important matters. I'm a fucking idiot. It could be a friend, or a parent, or even a teacher. A friend, a parent, or even a teacher. I'm an idiot. Korona had wanted to talk to me. That meant she had chosen me over everybody else to ask for advice. What the heck are you doing, Take? I figured Takeichi would have been the better choice for her. He was always good at listening to people's worries. I guess they just didn't have a sibling relationship that made it easy to discuss those kinds of things. I didn't think Korona would go to him for something like this. Guess that makes me her substitute big brother. Is it already going there? Because I would prefer it not go there. That's the way I chose to see it. Now that I was pretty sure of my position, I sent my reply to Korona. Something that would be good here is if he basically sees it as him acting as a substitute big brother. But at some point, Korona's literally just gonna I would just say smack his mind out of that mindset. Smack him out of that mindset. Like, I don't see you like that, motherfucker. Like, I told Korona that I would meet her in the afternoon. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I feel like I've lost the ability to speak for some reason. There wasn't anywhere in particular to go, so we just decided that we would come over to my place.
ソラミク、そろそろ上がる時間でしょ。これいつものだから。
The manager showed me a basket with all the food items that we were getting rid of.
ただ捨てちゃうのももったいないしね。 私らもお昼はいつもこれだよ。
I couldn't imagine that they did it every day, but they did eat the leftover items quite often. It was safe to say that it was just something that convenience store managers
好
did.
きなの選んでいいよ。おすすめは新製品のあったかけんちんうどんだね。
I know why my head tends to itch after a shower. Okay, I'll give it a try. I grabbed the udon she had recommended, as well as a couple of rice balls.
ん？小太郎が騒がしいね。ちょっと見てきてくれるかい？
Sure. Makes sense.
やだ、ワンワンしないでよ。コロナ美味しくないってば。
Kotaro was wagging his tail back and forth, clearly looking for somebody to play with.
アキリ助けて。
But when Korona saw me, she ran around to hide behind me. Come on, boy, calm down. I bent down to pet Kotaro until he stopped barking. He seemed satisfied after receiving a bit of attention and finally settled down.
助かったよ。ありがとう、猛獣からコロナを救ってくれて。
Kotaro just wanted you to play with him.
コロナは別に遊びたくないもん。
I didn't realize you weren't good with dogs.
牙あるし、ワンワン増えるし、コロナのこと追いかけるし。
She'd probably had a bad experience with a dog that hadn't been tied up in the past or something. I remember, I was scared of dogs for a certain amount of time as well. It all happened because my friend's dog back in kindergarten that was like as tall as I was decided to chump me when I came to visit, knocking me over and just licking the entirety of my fucking face. That proceeded to scar me for, I think, up to 5 years. Like, I'm still not good with dogs, but at least like I'm not straight up scared of them. I heard that people who hate dogs usually had some kind of traumatic experience that triggered it. If Kotaro scares you that much, you should head inside.
コロナもそのつもりだったよ。でもあの猛獣と目が合っちゃって。お、
Let's go inside.
こんにちは、おばちゃん。
はい、こんにちは。
Ma'am, I'm going to clock out now that Korona is here, if that's
お
alright.
疲れ様。次は夕方だから、それまで自由にしていいよ。
I grabbed the food I'd taken from the basket a minute ago and headed up to my room. Korona stopped to buy a pork bun and followed me up. Go ahead and hang your coat over there.
はーい。
Korona grabbed a hanger while I switched on the heater under my table. Give it a minute and it'll be nice and warm.
おこた冷え冷えだ。
She was already sitting down with her legs shoved underneath the blanket. I feel a little bad after making you come all the way over here, so do I have time to eat real quick?
いいよ。
But do I have
コロナも
time
こ
to
れ
eat
食べる
real
し。
quick? I mean, I'm stupid. Anyways, she was passing the steamed pork bun from hand to hand, waiting for it to cool a little. Let's eat then. I tossed the udon I'd taken into the microwave and started on the rice balls while I waited for it to heat
ア
up.
キニーのおにぎ
Uh.
り、中身何？
Talking hard. She was in the middle of her own pork bun, but she seemed more interested in my rice balls. And this one has Pologro and mayonnaise.
それ美味しそう。コロナの豚まんと半分交換しない？
Half of yours is too much. I'll take just a bite.
ああ、それで交換ね。
Negotiations finished, I tore off half of my rice ball and handed it to her.
明太マヨこぼれちゃう。
She hurriedly popped the whole thing into her mouth.
コロナの豚まんもどうぞ。
Just a bite then. I hesitated for a second. I wondered if I should take a bite from where Korona had already eaten, or if I should take one from somewhere she hadn't touched yet. Chomp. To me, the insides were too tempting. I went for the spot she'd already eaten from. Korona noticed what I had done. Sorry, was that not okay? I was very apologetic as I handed the pork bun back to her.
そうじゃなくてね。
The thing is not that he didn't mind it, he straight up went for it.
アキニーと関節中だ。
She looked rather delighted as she let out a giggle.
それじゃあコロナも。はむ
She made a show of taking another bite from where I'd take mine. It's not like there was anything there, but it was just the thought of it. I finished up the rest of my rice ball and my udon, and our conversation shifted to the reason Korona had come over. So, should we discuss what you wanted to talk about today?
はーい。
We should get started before our full stomach started making us
昨
sleepy.
日あの後お母さんと話をしたんだ。名工学院にしたいって言ってみた。そしたら OK してくれたよ。
Let's see. So, this is what you want to do?
名工科推薦にしなさいって言ったのはお母さんだけど、見学していい学校だと思ったし、あそこに入りたいなって。
Korona had made her own decision. There was no reason to object, so I approved of her choice as well. So, what did you decide about the astronomy club?
それなんだけどね。
Korona's expression turned cloudy. I told you yesterday too. You don't have to feel obligated to join.
そうじゃないの。ただね、コロナなんかじゃ迷惑かなって。
Crash course in astronomy? Of course you wouldn't. Nobody has a problem with you tagging along, but nobody has had a problem with you tagging along before. She wasn't even a student at one of the 6 schools that made up the club, yet she'd been accepted as Merope. I was pretty sure that had been Orihime's decision.
むつら星のみんなを見ててね、すっごく楽しそうだなって思ったの。コロナもあんな風になれたらいいなって思った。でもね、なんか違うんだ。この前見せてもらった星は綺麗だったよ。すっごく感動した。また見たいって思ったよ。でもね、そこから先の自分がイメージできなくって。
Let's see. Finally understood what she was getting at. At some schools, there were a few people that were members of the astronomy club, but only came to the big events or observations. Korona was a lot like that right now. Do you feel pressure from Orihime? When she gets serious about something, she can lose sight of the things around her. It was one of her best traits, but it also had its negatives. Honoka did a great job of backing her up, but there were a lot of people who couldn't keep up with her.
姫ちゃんの気持ちは嬉しいんだよ。コロナに優しくしてくれたし。
I'm sure that Korona wanted to pay her back for her kindness, but she probably wasn't sure that she could keep up with Orihime's fast pace.
コロナ、姫ちゃんをがっかりさせたくないよ。
I'm sure Orihime would never be disappointed with Korona. I just didn't know how to make Korona realize that. Do you know Noriko? She goes to Amahai with Hikari.
のりちゃんのこと知ってるけど。
She doesn't know all that much about the stars either. She's still helping us as a member of the 6 Stars Club though.
詳しくなくても、すっごく星のことを好きなんだよね。
Means you don't need to hold back just because you don't know a lot. As long as you don't hate the stars, Orihime would never be disappointed.
そっか。
Korona, do you like the stars?
どっちかっていうと好き。その好きも生まれたてのちっちゃなものだけど。
Well, the 6 Stars Club loves to help those small feelings grow into something bigger. We care a lot about people like you, Korona. Helping the love of the stars grow. Expanding the circle of friends who had a passion for astronomy. Creating a place for friends to do activities related to what they love. Those were all Orihime's ideals. Same ideals that had brought the 6 Stars Club back.
秋にもコロナがいた方が嬉しい？
Of course.
じゃあ、コロナも星のことを続けてみようかな。
I didn't know what would happen in the future, but I was sure she would fall more in love with the stars. Couldn't imagine any other outcome with the people who were already part of the group.
まだ名工に受かってないのに、天文部のこと話してもしょうがないか。
I suppose you're right. Guess we both got a little ahead of ourselves. How's the studying going? Are you doing alright?
試験本番まで1ヶ月切っちゃったからね。あとはとにかく頑張るだけって感じかな。
I'd heard that her grades were pretty good. They were plenty high enough to be accepted. The only thing left was how well she did on the test. If that's the case, maybe you should take a break and give your mind some time to relax a bit.
コロナもそう思う。プレッシャーには強い方だと思うんだけど、やっぱり時々ここの辺りがグワーってなるんだ。不安でたまらなくなって眠れなかったり、気分転換しなきゃって思うんだけど、なかなかそうもいかなくって。ねえ、アキに、いい気分転換ってないかな？
Stargazing, of course. Sounded too simple, but I couldn't help it. Looking at the stars always helped me relax. It seemed like pretty good proof that it worked.
アキに、それうちのお母さんにも言える？
Do you think she'd let you?
絶対無理。この前だって学年トップになったら行かせてくれるって条件でなんとか OK もらったんだし。
Top of the class? She had just said it offhand, but I was surprised that she could be top of her class.
星を見るのって夜でしょ？ちょっとなら平気だけど、何度も遅くなると外出自体を禁止されちゃう。
That wouldn't be good. I could easily imagine her mom doing that to her, though. There was no way she'd win an argument with her mom. What about going to the planetarium then?
お金かかるよ。何度も行けるところじゃないって。
Some that didn't cost money, could be done anytime, and was good at relieving stress. If there was something that filled those conditions, I definitely want to know about it too.
それにね、コロナは勉強から逃げたいわけじゃないんだ。今は勉強しなきゃいけないから。気分転換だって言って、勉強をストップさせたくない。勉強をしながらストレス解消できるといいんだけど。
What a workaholic. Sound like something a company would say to exploit their employees.
今は登校しなくてもいいんだけど、コロナは学校行って勉強してるんだよ。でもなんか殺伐としてて、勉強してても疲れるんだよね。
Even more than at home?
家はもっときついかも。お母さんがセンサー働かせてるから。
I could understand that she'd want her daughter to do well, but her excessive meddling was clearly having a negative effect. Despite all that, though, Korona still seemed to be handling herself rather
だ
well.
から一番勉強をはかどるのは夜中とか早朝とかそういう変な時間だけなんだよね。
It wasn't just the looming test that was slowly chipping away at her sanity. I needed to do something about this. How about you study here then? The idea just struck me, and I offered.
ここってアキ兄の部屋？いいの？
Motherfucker. This should work better, I suppose. At least a little bit. There you go. I don't mind. I'd have to make sure that it was okay with the manager, though.
でもアキ兄がいると逆に緊張しちゃうかも。
I'm usually only here at night. Most of the time, I'm downstairs
つ
working.
まり一人でここで勉強していいってこと？
That's probably how it would work. What do you think?
それならお願いします。
We went downstairs and explained the situation to the store manager. So I'd like to let her use my room as a kind of study room, if that's alright.
よろしくお願いします。
Ah, god fucking damn it.
空見くんがいいなら私は構わないよ。ただし使う時と帰る時は必ず誰かに報告すること。いいね。
わかりました。
じゃあ後の細かい話はそっちでやっとくれ。ちゃんと責任持って面倒を見るんだよ。
Alright, thanks, ma'am.
一応親御さんにはこっちから連絡しておくから、コロナちゃんは安心して受験勉強頑張んなさい。
The manager was amazing. She didn't just say it would be okay, she also offered to talk to Korona's mom. Corona was probably dreading that part. Didn't expect to work as a store clerk for the rest of my life, but I didn't want to be the kind of person that a manager was when I grow up.
おっす、アキト。
I was hanging out in the astronomy room when Takeichi suddenly showed up. Hey, Taka! The fuck are you doing here?
俺だよ。
He held out a cup of curry
お湯もらう
noodles.
ぜ。
Sure, just refill the water when you're done.
わかってるわかってる。
It felt like it always did when he stopped by to eat before practice. It felt like it always did when he stopped by to eat before practice. No, that delivery is a bit better, I think. Takichi flipped the switch on the electric kettle and sat down to wait for it to boil. So, what's that? Takichi had 2 cups of curry noodles sitting in front of him.
見ればわかるだろう。カレーヌードルだ。しかもビッグ。
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you why you're making 2 of them. He turned the lid back on top of them. He turned the lid back on both of them, meaning that the second one wasn't for later.
聞いたぞ。コロナのこと。
Oh, sorry, I should have told you about
そん
that.
なのはどうでもいい。あいつが受験でピリピリしてても、俺たちはどうにもしてやれなかったからな。ま、こいつはその例みたいなもんだ。
I see. In that case, don't mind if I do.
妹のこと。頼むな。
The water had just started to boil. Takechi grabbed it and poured it onto the noodles.
それと、アキトなら大丈夫だとは思うが、一応言っとく。あいつ、まだまだガキだから、押し倒すような真似はやめてくれよ。
That hadn't even crossed my mind in the slightest. I hadn't really thought about it before Takechi mentioned it. No matter how little time I would be there, having an adolescent girl over for any significant length of time probably wasn't a very good idea.
だろうな。あいつガキだし。
You shouldn't keep calling her that. Korona doesn't like it very
ガ
much.
キなのは事実だろうが。
I couldn't argue the point, so I just forced a smile.
まあ、あいつはガキで貧乳だから、巨乳派の空見先生が手を出すことはないって知ってるが。なんだ。油断してっとコロナがお前を押し倒すかもしれねえ。
Yeah, right.
万が一だ。一応気をつけとけ。
Yes, sir. We had a good laugh at that. There was no way Korona would do something like that. The following night, he wakes up chained to the bed with Korona in a full dominatrix outfit over him. Fuck. But it was strange to think that someone had actually imagined it. The store manager hadn't called her parents and let them know. There was a chance that things could have gotten complicated. I was riding my bike home when I got a message from Korona.
コンビニ到着！部屋借りるね。
It seemed like she would go into my room before I arrived. I guess it would be a pain if she had to wait for me to be there, so the situation was probably for the best. I'm ready for work, ma'am.
ああ、空見くんおかえり。コロナちゃんもう来てるわよ。
Yeah, she already sent me a
子
text.
供っぽいと思ってたけど、礼儀正しい子じゃない。
Maybe it was because of how strict her parents were, but she did know how to be polite. She had really good grades too. Everyone thought more highly of her than I had expected.
うちの娘にも見習ってほしいもんだわ。
Miss Miero used to be such an upstanding person, though. Now she was just a shadow of her former self. The fact that I knew how great of a teacher she used to be also made the feeling of disappointment that much stronger.
はあ、なんとかならないもんかね。
I gave out a sigh as well. Wonder if the day would come where she would be back to her old self. After that, I threw myself into my work. Later in the evening, we had a truck come for delivery, so I was busy helping unload it all. I got lost in work and completely forgot about Korona.
空見くん、ちょっと、
The manager had come up to the register and called me
そろそ
over.
ろ時間でしょ。コロナちゃんの様子見てきてくれない？
Like, I accidentally clicked it at least it felt like I clicked this button. But I actually didn't, but I still thought I did. So I tried to like undo it again. I think I accidentally activated this roulette thing for a second. I think that's what I actually did on accident, just activate it for a second. So in an attempt to like get the text back, I clicked the button, but because I only activated this instead of actually removing the window, I accidentally removed it. That was just a huge chain of fuck-ups. When did I get this late? The manager had told me about Corona's curfew. She needed to be back home by 8 p.m. at the latest. Apparently, that had been her parents'
バ
terms.
スの時間を考えるとあまり悠長にしてられないからね。
I'll clock out now then. I took off my apron and headed up to my room. I slid the door open quietly and went inside. Corona was sitting at the table studying. Corona hadn't noticed me come in. She was focused intently on her books. It looked like she was working on math. The sound of her pencil scratching intently across the notebook sounded nice. Thinking about it, I realized that this was the first time I'd ever seen her studying. Now I realize how her grades are so high. Her level of concentration was almost scary. I suppose she had to be this focused to get grades as high as hers, though. Saya's grades should be around the same level, but I can't imagine Saya looking this focused. I smile consciously at the thought.
おきに、おかえりなさい。
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
そんなことないよ。ってもうこんな時間なの？
The lights in the room were on, which meant she must have realized it was dark at some point. It was getting dark at some point. She had been really focused a minute ago, though.
家に着く時間を逆算するとバスの時間はこれだから。
She was checking the bus schedule on her phone. She'd only gotten the phone last Christmas, but she was already using it like a pro.
迷惑だったかな。コロナ、そろそろ帰った方がいい？
No, you're fine. I was actually more worried about interrupting your
あ
concentration.
きには家主なんだから、もっとドーンとしてていいんだよ。
Actually, the room wasn't really mine. I was just borrowing it. The position wasn't much different than hers. My position wasn't much different from hers.
もう少し勉強してていい？今いい感じに進んでるんだ。
Sure. I'll try to keep it down so I don't distract
あ
you.
りがとう。それじゃああとちょっとだけ。
I don't know why I suddenly thought of this scenario, but if you imagine ghosts actually existed, and you move into a house that is haunted. Like it's not. It doesn't even have to be the case of like it's the borderline is you think ghost exists, and you know the house is haunted. Or at least you're neutral about it. You're not denying it, but you're also not accepting it. And you move into a house that's haunted. Would you masturbate in the house? Because imagine if the ghost was actually there and you were just like beating off happily. Suddenly there's this ghost just, yo, what the fuck kind of weird ass shit you jacking off to there? Yo, man, I need some privacy. Like, Jesus. Like, imagine that being the case. You would have no fucking privacy. Like, even if you wanted to take a shit or something, ghost just comes through the fucking door. Hey, guess what I just fucking learned? Like, well, you just learned that I was shitting here, so get the fuck out of here right now. I don't know why Sonny came up with that. I would like to know myself. Korona went back to her studying. That was not what I clicked. I thought she might slow down just due to the interruption, but it didn't look like it had bothered her at all. She kept scratching away at the same pace as before. Maybe I'll read something. I had a book I checked out from the library a few days ago. I decided to read it to kill some time. I didn't have much longer until I had to return it. I decided I should probably finish it then. And done. When I looked up from my book, Korona was staring back at me.
秋に、すっごく真剣だった。
Did I? Probably not as much as you were.
その本、そんなに面白かったの？
To me, yeah, it's different than a novel or a comic, though.
それ、どんな本なの？
It's about the Hubble Space Telescope.
ああ、前に秋兄が言ってたやつ。
I had mentioned it once before when I had been explaining the Pleiades one. Apparently she had remembered. About 30 years ago, there were two big projects in the United States. The first was the superconducting super collider, an enormous electron accelerator. The other was the HST, the Hubble Space Telescope, an extra large reflecting telescope that had launched into they launched into space. Ah! Why was that so hard to say? There was a lot going on back then in the US, though. The SSC ended up getting cancelled in 1993.
アップルの方はどうなの？
The HST project managed to avoid getting cancelled. It did have quite a few setbacks and some budget problems, though. Despite the huge amounts of money they had invested into the telescope, there was a flaw in the mirror that caused a problem with the focus.
それで、アメリカはどうしたの？
They sent up a replacement mirror with the space shuttle on the first servicing mission.
スペースシャトルって、あのスペースシャトルだよね。すっごいなあ。
The scale of the project was huge, so a surprise was to be expected. Even people uninterested in astronomy would appreciate the grand scale of a project like this. The Hubble was an epoch-making endeavor. Even now, 30 years later, astronomy lovers were fascinated by it. After they got the lens up there on the space shuttle, astronauts had to personally do all the repairs.
だよね。持っていくだけじゃダメだもんね。
That shows how much the Hubble Space Telescope was worth fixing. The Hubble Telescope made it possible to see things in space that you couldn't from the surface due to the atmosphere and weather. It was an enormous reflecting telescope floating in space. The fact that the fundamental principle was no different than the reflecting telescopes we used was kind of romantic.
星を見るのもいろいろなんだね。
The desire to see more, better, farther, to see what can't be seen with our eyes alone. That is why the dream of an astronomer never end. That's why the dreams of an astronomer never end. My passion for this sort of thing could be considered too much. I just loved it so much. And I had nothing but respect for the great star lovers who had come before me.
コロナにはよくわかんないけど、よかったね、秋に。
Why are you glad for me?
今の秋に、すっごく楽しそうだったよ。そのバカ野郎の一人みたいに、目をキラキラさせてさ。
I see. If that's the case, then you saw a rather embarrassing side of me. This wasn't really a side of me that I showed to people very often. Did I really look like I was enjoying myself that much when I was talking about this Hubble Space Telescope with her? Was I annoying you with my talk?
全然、すっごく楽しかった。
It wasn't just flattery. Korona was being sincere. I could tell because her eyes had been sparkling a little as well as she listened to me talk. And apparently, I'd shown her how exciting it could be to talk about astronomy as well.
また次もこういう話を聞かせてよ。
Sure. That sounds like a good change of pace for you too.
秋に、今日はいろいろありがとう。
It was time to head home, so we were waiting at the bus
明
stop.
日もまた来ていいかな。
That's fine. You did seem to have made good progress with your studies
お
today.
母さんにちゃんと報告しとくね。すっごく勉強に集中できたよって。
That would help. I feel that she might get suspicious.
疑われるって何が？
Suspicious of that you're only coming over to hang out and not getting any studying done. I decided not to mention anything about the issues surrounding her being a girl. I didn't want her to start feeling weird about it.
お母さんそういうとこあるから。
It's easy for others to keep a watchful eye on my room as well.
信頼を裏切らないよ。勉強頑張るよ。
The bus pulled up. If she missed this one, she wouldn't make it home in
そ
time.
れじゃあ君、コロナもう行くね。バイバイ。
She waved her hand enthusiastically as she got on the bus. She continued waving after she found a seat as well. I waved back until the bus had pulled out of sight.
それでは第1回むつら星定例会を終了します。
Honoka had suggested that we meet once a month, so we decided to get together on a regular basis. Today had been our first official
次
meeting.
回の開催日は皆さんの都合を聞いた上で改めてご連絡しますので、吉岡のことよろしく頼むわね。
We discussed a lot, but the biggest topic had been Orihime's retirement as club president. She was graduating in March, so it had been expected. After some discussion, we'd elected Orihime's protege Honoka as the next president, despite her being a first year like me.
空見くん、吉岡のサポート役期待しても構わないかしら。
Why me?
同じ1年生だし、吉岡に足りないものをあなたが持っていると思ったからよ。それにカードもそう告げているわ。あなたが吉岡の運命になると。
There she goes with the tarot cards again. Oh, fuck off with tarot cards, please. She wasn't drawing the cards from the deck at random, so it didn't help to persuade me in the least. The statement could be easily misinterpreted. That statement could be easily misinterpreted, you know?
言われてみたらそうね。失言だったわ。
Saying that we were fated to be together would make anybody think you were talking about love. Even Morihime realized what she had said.
それより、メローペはあなたが預かっているという話だけれど。
Yes, she's studying over at my place. Korona had come to the meeting today. Hadn't come to the meeting today. Her test was fast approaching, so she was too busy.
アキト君がいないのに部屋に上がらせてもらってるんだ。
If she's studying, isn't it better that way? Anyway?
そうだけど、大丈夫なの？
You sure you're not gonna find your stash? What? Your stash, the one under your bed. Why do you know where it is?
そうよ。何かあったら大変だわ。
Nothing is going to happen. Besides, there's always somebody downstairs at the store. I wasn't too worried about her. Korona was a responsible girl. She was smart too. If there was some sort of problem, she would let somebody know right away.
ケーキ買ってもらっちゃった。
I pestered her about it enough there to get her to buy me a bus pass to Mikazuki Station. Oh, we're currently in Korona's head! Help! I don't like it in here! It was less than a month now before the Meiko Academy entrance exam, but it was still cheaper to buy a pass than to pay the fare every day.
元を取るためにも毎日通わなきゃね。
I would be able to study in Aki's room. Not too long ago, I never would have imagined things would end up like this.
これは絶対チャンスだよね。
I would finally be able to shrink the distance between us. I like how Octa's just the one. I'm just helping her. Like everyone's right, just don't touch her, and then she's just over there. Might be able to get closer as friends, and then
コロナのこと、女の子として見てもらう。
Aki still didn't understand. I wasn't a kid anymore. He still thought of me, as he always had. To him, I was just Takeichi's little
ど
sister.
うやったら変わってくれるんだろう。
You know, wait for him naked in his room. That's always an option. It will, however, potentially very negatively affect your relationship with him. I mean, it'll get him to see you as a girl because, you know... it's not a good idea, but it is an idea. Whatever I did, he just saw it as the silly actions of a little kid. Even the things that my brother would get angry at me for, he just laughs and let slide.
アキ兄は優しいけど、それはコロナが欲しい優しさじゃないよ。
Ah! That was a bit harder than I was expecting. He was always nice and he's cool too. It's like he knows everything that I don't. Of course, I knew that wasn't true, but he did know all sorts of things. Was very reliable. The more I learned about him, though, the farther away he felt. About how much I chased after him, I couldn't catch up. It was like some prince in a fairy tale. I can already see that this route is going in a direction I actually quite like. It is actually what I hinted at the beginning, like him basically looking at himself more as a brotherly figure, and she's just over there like, STOP! Please! Sure, I have a brother, but that brother's a fucking idiot! That's not you! Like, by God, please! Jesus! Anyways.
あの天の川さやだって。
Even though they got along so well, they weren't dating. Even she couldn't reach him. That's why she gave up and ran away. Is that why she doesn't like her?
嫌なこと思い出しちゃった。
I wasn't going to run away. Even if I couldn't ever catch up, I wasn't going to give up trying. I made it this far without giving up after all.
三日月駅到着！今日も部屋で勉強させてもらうね。これでよしっと。
I sent Aki a message with a picture attached. He said he was going to a Six Stars Club meeting today, so he wasn't going to be home until later.
コロナも行きたかったな。
Couldn't have seen He-Man. I could have seen He-Man had her stroke my hair too. Didn't care much for Saya Manogawa, but Naru and Nori would be there too. Even that big guy from Moro High had been nice to me. Hot tea, tastes these sweets, and a group of fun friends.
コロナが欲しかったものがあそこにはあるのに。
But it just wasn't where I belonged right now.
おー、コロナじゃん。いいところに。
みはるちゃん。
Granny wasn't around, so Miyaru was behind the counter. Run, Korona, run!
ねえねえ、バイト変わってくれない？私立ちっぱなしで疲れちゃってさ。
コロナは勉強あるからダメ。
勉強しても一銭にもならないよ。でもコンビニのバイトなら時給がもらえる。
それ誰が払ってくれるの？ダメじゃん。
Something was wrong with Miharu. Even Pikarin would cry if she saw this.
それじゃコロナ部屋で勉強してるから。
はーい。うちの母さんが来たら伝えとくわ。
さてと、勉強しようかな。
Writing utensils, study books, I set everything I needed out on the table.
居心地いいな、ここ。
It was small and a little messy. There were cushions to sit on, but it got pretty uncomfortable after a while. I couldn't say it was the best environment to study in.
なんだかほっとするんだよね。
It reminded me of the house I had lived in before, the one that was now underwater because of the dam. The place had the same woody tree smell. It put me at ease.
今の家だって嫌いじゃないけど。
However, sometimes I just wish I could go back to the way things were before. Back to the house where I was born and raised in. But I can't ever go back.
ダメダメ、勉強しなきゃ。
I forced myself back to the present and picked up my pencil. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate studying. Actually, I think I enjoyed it. Seeing concrete results from something that I did myself was a great feeling. I suddenly feel very jealous of Korona. I threw myself back into my studies. Everything fell away, even the sound of the clock ticking. I really enjoyed this feeling. Oi, I'm back!
うん
It was dark out and Aki still hadn't come back. I wondered if he was still out having fun with the other members of the Six Stars Club. Hime had probably brought all kinds of snacks. They were most likely still drinking tea and enjoying themselves.
姫ちゃん、寂しんぼさんだからな。
She told me that in secret before. She was afraid of being alone. That's why she was always getting people together and making herself the center of the party. She figured that if she was always at the center, she would never end up alone. Why you gotta do this to me? You're just gonna make me feel bad now. Why you gotta do this to me, Korona?
ちょっと休憩。
If I didn't take a break, my efficiency would drop. Ever since I was taught that, I made sure to take breaks every once in a while, no matter how focused I was. Having said that, though, it was Aki's room. There wasn't anything for me to do.
そうだ、本。
I think it was called the Hubble Space Telescope. Maybe I could read that for a bit.
あれ、ない。
Oh no, she's gonna find the porn. I looked over everything on the bookshelf, but it wasn't there. He'd finished reading it, so maybe he'd returned it already.
それにしても、エッチな本もないんだな。
Oh, she's actively looking for him now. My brother had plenty of those. He'd apparently hidden them, but Mom had still found out.
秋に、女の子の裸に興味ないのかな。
There's no man alive that isn't interested in naked girls. I say that, but, you know, gay people still exist. You get the point! If that was true, things wouldn't look good for me. And actually, how she was even... Shit, I need to find something here. It's not gonna look good for me. If you had special tastes, there wouldn't be anything I could do.
あ、でもお兄ちゃんが前に言ってたっけ。秋には巨乳好きだって。ってことはコロナダメじゃん。
I like how she's just... Wait, I remember my brother talking about how Akito likes big breasts. Oh yeah. I wasn't anywhere close to being considered big-breasted.
天の川さやもコロナと同じくらいのチッパイだからな。秋兄の彼女になれないのもそれが理由だったりし
She
て。
really thinks he's vain enough to decide who he dates based on breast size? I couldn't laugh if that was the case.
ヒカリンは、大きくなってたよね。
They were close to the size of Hime's. I wasn't sure whose were bigger. It was like she'd been reborn as a completely different person, one with giant boobs.
これでもちょびっとずつ大きくなってきたんだけどな。
She hadn't had anything to speak of 3 years ago. But recently, she'd slowly grown into a woman's body. If she could suddenly develop like that, didn't that mean there was still a chance for me?
無理か。
Judging from my mom, I probably didn't have much of a chance. Hers weren't quite as small as mine, but she was a slender lady. Her boobs weren't very big. Thanks to genetics, it was hopeless to expect to develop huge breasts like Pikaden had.
あー、どうしよう。
Should probably just get back to studying. But not yet, though. Just a bit longer.
といや
I dove into the futon that was folded up on the floor.
ー、お布団気持ちいい。
Couldn't let myself fall asleep, but I figured I could lay back and relax for a bit. And it was a futon! I'd had a regular bed ever since I had moved. I missed tatami mats and futons.
でもちょっとジメッとしてるかも。
With my face buried in the futon, I could tell. He probably hadn't hung it up to air out. Boys were lazy like that.
でもこれやばいかも。
The fact that Aki hadn't aired it out meant it smelled like him even more. It was completely different than Takeichi's. This smelled like a boy. I buried my face even deeper in the folds. My heart started beating faster, and it felt like I was being wrapped up in Aki's
あー
arms.
もう秋に
I wanted my smell to mix with Aki's and turn into the smell of love. What the fuck? I mean, I got a title for the part now, Smell of Love. It's fucking weird, but hey, it'll stoke the curiosity of the viewer, I guess. But as I was rolling around, marking my territory, something came loose from where it had been wedged between the futon and the wall.
なんだろこれ。
A big envelope. I looked closer and saw that it was already open. The label seemed to have been torn off. I couldn't tell what it had said. I shouldn't be snooping around without permission. Curiosity soon won over, however, and I peeked inside.
何これ。
It was a dirty book. It was filled with pictures of naked women.
やっぱりアキ兄もこういうの読むんだ。
There were women with boobs of all sizes. Felt a little relieved that it wasn't full of only big-breasted girls.
でもこれ。
This might be a little too much for me. It wasn't just pictures of naked ladies. There were ads for adult videos as well. The private parts were censored, but I could still understand what was going on.
コロナもいつかこういうことをするのかな。
Heart was racing a mile a minute. I'm home! Ah! Ah! I knew I shouldn't be doing this, but I started imagining myself in the pictures. Oh no. I was supposed to be studying, but I couldn't take my eyes off of the dirty magazine. Oh no. It's the thing I think is currently happening. Oh, a message from Korona. 6 Stars Club meeting was over, and we were just sitting around chatting when my phone went off.
三日月駅到着。今日も部屋で勉強させてもらうね。
She sent an image as well. She'd taken a selfie with this bus stop in the background.
アキトくんの部屋に着いたの？
Looks like it.
戻らなくても平気？
I'll just get in the way of her studies if I do. I think I'll stay here for a while today. If Miss Mieru heard that, she'd probably get angry and tell me that I shouldn't be tending the store instead. But she should put in a little work from time to time as well.
遅くとも18時には解散していただくことになりますけど、それでも平気ですか？
Oh, don't worry, I won't stay that late.
話足りないようなら場所を変えても構いませんわよ。行きつけのカフェが近くにありますの。
I probably shouldn't. If it was one of Orima's favorites, I wondered how high class of a place it was. If it was one of those places where a cup of coffee was 1,000 yen, I definitely couldn't afford it. I'll just make my way home slowly today. If I'm too late, Korona will start to worry. By the time we all left and I arrived at home, it was already dark. I still hadn't heard anything from Korona, so she was probably still in my room studying. She's probably trying to concentrate. I'll try not to distract her. I walked up the stairs quietly and slowly slid the door to my room open. Oh. When I entered the room, Korona was looking at a dirty magazine.
アキ兄。
Korona, you shouldn't be looking at stuff like that. At that kind of stuff.
なんで？勝手に見たのはごめんなさいだけど、コロナが見ちゃいけないものなの？
Just give it back. This was getting bad. I took a step forward to take it from her.
アキ兄だってこういうのでハーハーしてるんでしょ？
I did not! It's not even mine!
借り物だっていうの？借りるってことはこれ見てやらしいことするってことで。
Well, that's not what this is! She was getting the wrong idea. I never bought actual magazines. All my stuff was digital. But in this digital age, some people still enjoyed analog. I'd set this one aside specifically for Old Man Champ. Korona! I didn't have time to explain. I just needed to get it away from her. If her mother ever heard about this, she would never be allowed to come here again. Please, just give it back.
やだ、返さない。
Please! She wouldn't give it back willingly. I would have to resort to force. I prepared my resolve and lunged forward. And... Yep, of course. After a short scuffle, we collapsed to the floor. Corona? She had ended up on her back with me hovering over her. Thankfully, I wasn't touching anything, so I shouldn't anything I shouldn't be, but we were still rather close for comfort. I'd managed to get the dirty magazine out of her hands. Now she was just staring up into my eyes. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
分かってる。偶然こうなったんだよね。
Don't fucking hit my nose, you stupid shit. Yeah. She wasn't nearly as flustered as I expected her to be. That magazine really isn't mine. I'm just holding on to it. I'm just holding it for somebody I know.
信じるよ。
He's done a complete 180 from before. Now she seemed to believe me. Just like that. I don't need to explain.
アキ兄はコロナに嘘つかないもん。
I mean, he would probably lie if it was about a porn. You know, like a fucking porn magazine. Like, people would probably lie about that. Shit's embarrassing and all that. That wasn't true, of course. But I did try to be honest as much as
ア
possible.
キ兄の顔、こんな近くに見るの初めてかも。
Right, I've never seen yours from this close either.
コロナのことどう思う？
What?
結構可愛いと思うんだ。
Like, I think I'm pretty cute.
自分で言うのもなんだかかっこ悪いけどね。
Mind she is cute, yes, indeed. She is cute. Why were we having this conversation in this position? I realized how awkward it was and started to stand up.
あ、待って、先に行かないで。
But would you want me to move?
お願い。
Was this really the Korona I knew so well? She looked the same, but she felt like a different person. We just stared at each other for a moment in silence. After a minute, she tilted her head and... She slowly closed her eyes and pursed her lips out. She was trembling slightly. It didn't take me long to understand what those lips meant. Korona? She wanted me to kiss her. But why? Are you a fucking retard?! What? Ah yes, she wants me to kiss her. I wonder why. I wonder why. I have no idea why possibly a girl would want to kiss a boy. No possible idea! Fuck off. Fuck off, Akito. Just... After reading the magazines made her curious. That's the fucking excuse he's got. That's the fucking excuse he's gonna try to come up. Corona, we can't. Tried to be kind about it. In response, she just pursed her lips even more. I couldn't kiss those lips even if I'd wanted to. Fine, here. I didn't kiss her. Instead, I pressed my finger against her lips. She seemed to accept that, her lips relaxing. Was this really okay? She believed that she was kissing my lips. She'd found out it was just my finger. Shit. She slowly opened her eyes. Guess she wanted to see for herself. But all expectations had been betrayed.
これって指どうしてキスしてくれたと思ったのに。
I had no idea what I should say to her. Just say to her that he would be betraying her mother's trust if he tried anything in this situation.
キニーのバカ。コロナ、もう帰るね。
She pushed me away and stood up to start packing her things. I just sat there and watched her in
それ
silence.
じゃあキニー、さよなら。
Like the whole finger thing was kind of a dick move. He should have just gotten up or something. Korona! All I saw was her back as she walked away. Called out her name, but she didn't stop. The timing was terrible too. Her bus pulled up right as she got to the bus stop. Didn't even bother to look back as she boarded. Korona! At my shout, she finally looked back at me from the bus window. Sorry! Even if I apologized, she probably wasn't going to forgive me. I'd damaged her girlish innocence. I wasn't considering her feelings as a girl at all. I hadn't considered her feelings as a girl at all. Korona just stared at me in silence. She didn't bother to lower the window as she said anything, to say anything back either. She just stared. She wasn't crying, nor did she look angry. I'd never seen her look this way before. Probably like crestfallen, something like that. The bus pulled away. For long, Korona was out of sight. Yeah, you fucked up, buddy. But this is moving hella fast.
やっちゃった。
Like, way faster than Hime's route. Also, this is a very nice room. I never thought I would do something like that. I thought I might faint just thinking about it.
あー、どうしよう。今度アキ兄にどんな顔して会えばいいんだろう。
I rolled back and forth on top of my bed. I hadn't even stopped to take off my coat before I went to my room to wallow.
あれじゃ困らせるだけだよね。いきなり宙をおねだりするなんて。
I hadn't even confessed beforehand. He had probably been surprised
コ
too.
ナの気持ち気づいてなかったよね。
Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot. If he had, he wouldn't have offered to let me use his room. It hurt that he'd never noticed the feelings I had for him, but in that sense I was lucky.
あんなことしちゃったらもう。
He probably wouldn't let me use his room anymore. He's not a dick enough to, like, go back on his word, at least. I would imagine so. He's probably still gonna let you use the room. I didn't want that to happen! Hold on, I already read that.
せっかくチャンスをつかんだんだもん。諦めたりしないんだから。
However things ended up between us, I didn't want to be separated from him. That room was where I belonged now.
それにしてもだけど。何あの展開、超ドキドキしたんですけど。
I was getting embarrassed just thinking about it. It was like one of those extremely embarrassing yet delightful scenes from a girl's manga. I'm just gonna say manga because comic. When you say comic, the kind of comic you think of is like superhero comics, and you know, that's not really something that happens in those.
アキ兄に押し
Like a
倒さ
shoujo
れて
manga.
顔があんな近くてかっこよかったよ
He seemed really confused, but he was still so cool. Even if he didn't see me as a romantic interest, he was always so nice to me.
どうしようコロナ我慢できないよ
I was too excited to even think of studying tonight. I didn't think I'd be able to eat anything either.
アキ兄に唇突き出して
like he's Takeichi's just gonna be like in passing, just walking by her room. He's just gonna hear her saying that she tried to kiss him, just like imagine like the door frame here, like the door frame, just like this, just like he just walks past. Bitch, what? I tried sticking my lips out again the same way I had earlier. There was nobody here, so it felt different. But thinking back on it made my chest feel tight.
アキ兄キスして
Oh no, is she gonna? She's gonna butter her muffin now. That's what I'd wanted to say. But in the moment, it had been hard to just do what I had. I wish Aki was here now. Akiichi's just gonna stand at the door like, what the fuck are you doing? If he were, would he give me an actual kiss this time? Instead of Aki's finger, I kissed my own.
何これ恥ずかしすぎる
But what about Aki? Why had he been able to do it? Could have just called me a silly kid and laughed it off.
優しすぎるんだよアキ兄は
He hadn't kissed me. That was disappointing. But he had let me kiss his finger. If only I could put my lips on his, I would. I wanted to kiss him again. Thinking about his finger, I pretended to kiss it over and over. Thud. Takichi banged on the wall. I wondered how much he had heard. Yep, you're in trouble now, bitch. It was too embarrassing. But it wasn't a dream.
偶然だけど、やっと踏み出した一歩だもん。なかったことにはしないよ。
I don't think I would have had the courage to do it the normal way. So today had probably been a good thing.
君、大好きだよ。
I decided to go to bed, feeling Avaki's finger on my lips still vivid in my mind. Studying would have to wait for a while. I couldn't help it. It had been a special day after all. I hadn't heard anything from Korona since she disappeared on the bus. I thought she would at least send a text, but I didn't hear from her at all. I was at a loss as to what to do, so in the end I did nothing. I couldn't stop sighing. I didn't think this would go on for this long.
コロナちゃん、来ないね。
Yeah. Couldn't bring myself to say that it was because of me.
まあ、受験生だし、いろいろあるんだよ。私らが応援してあげなきゃね。
The manager had started treating Korona like a well-raised daughter of her own. She didn't know anything about what had happened between us. It was like she saw Korona differently now that she knew how hard she was working. Apparently, she had been giving pork buns and Orden to her when she showed up.
おや？小太郎がまた吠えてるね。コロナちゃんが来たのかも。
I'll go take a look!
コタちゃん、今日もモフモフだね。よしよし。
Oh, it's Josiah. Jesus Christ! Phrasing, dude! That's fucking rude!
アキトくん、その言い方はひどいと思うよ。
Yeah! Really? Saya looked offended as she continued petting Kotaro. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I thought she might be Korona.
コロナちゃんじゃなくて、さやだもん。
Naji was just being peevish. Well, you were being an asshole, so I think she's got the right to be at least a little bit peeved. Peeved? Peeved. There we go. That sounds better. Come on, don't act that way. I'm just a little worried about Korona.
何かあったの？
Well, you see, it wasn't exactly going to be easy to talk to Saya about it. But I didn't think this was the kind of problem I could solve on my own. By the way, I still need people to tell me which route to go for first, Hikari or Saya. So, fucking tell me! No one fucking told me anything up until now! Like, by God! I should probably make a poll on that. Nah, I don't feel like it. Or just tally what people are saying. Anyways, like, barely anyone told me which route I should go for first, after I said that in, like, one of the earlier parts. But I didn't think that this was the kind of problem I could solve on my own. I decided to resort to desperate measures and explained everything to her. Yep.
そんなことがあったんだ。
I had absolutely no idea that Korona felt that way.
私はうすうす感じてたけど。
Really?
私だけじゃないと思うよ。タケ君だって気づいてたんじゃないかな。
Now that you mention it. He had warned me to be careful of her. Was that because he knew how she felt about me? Great.
こういうのは焦ってもしょうがないと思うよ。落ち着いたら機嫌も直してくれるんじゃないかな。
Saya was calm and composed despite my anxiousness. And how long is that going to take?
そんなのわかんないよ。
How about if it had been you?
私だったら。
Like, what if it had been you? If it had been me? This is an unsalvageable situation.
やっぱりわかんないよ。
She looked sorry that she couldn't give me a better answer than that. I see. Korona's test was coming up soon. I didn't want to be the reason that you failed. I'd like things to go back to normal as soon as possible. If I remembered correctly, the Mako Academy entrance exam was at the beginning of February. If that was the case, I didn't have time to
元
waste.
の関係に戻れるかどうかわからないけど、 そういうことなら、アキトくんから動くしかないね。
And what exactly am I supposed to do?
それはアキトくんが
Whoops.
それはアキトくんが考えなきゃダメだよ。考えなきゃダメだよ。
I guess you're right. I wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to get back to her old self and come back to study. Didn't know what to say about her feelings yet, but I knew that I wanted to react sincerely next time. I considered all sorts of things. More time went by, but I couldn't come up with anything with a good idea. I spent some time deciding on what best to say. I thought about how I could respond to her reaction as well. Alright, I turned on my phone and tapped out a message to Korona. Hey there, sorry about the other day. I'd like to apologize. Do you have some time? Time? The messages were marked as read right away, but there was no response. Do you mind if I call? I'd rather do this directly.
待って待って待って。
The moment I asked if I could call, she
コ
responded.
ロナもごめんなさい。アキに何も悪くないのに。コロナが変なことしちゃったから怒らせちゃったかな。
No, not at all. I'm not mad.
ごめんね。
Me too. We just ended up apologizing back and forth. I didn't think this was going to get us anywhere, so I decided to just call her.
もしもし。
I'm sorry for calling like this.
大丈夫です。
You sound a little strange. Just calm down.
わかった。
I could hear her breathing in and out. It was kind of cute. I accidentally let out a chuckle.
アキに今笑ったでしょ。
Sorry, it just slipped out. Anyway, I wanted to apologize for the other day.
お詫び？そんなのいいのに。
That doesn't change the fact that I hurt you. I'd like to meet up and talk about it. Do you have any time tomorrow?
あるある。いっぱいあるよ。
Can you come by the store around noon then?
わかった。12時にそっち行くね。
Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow then. Good night.
おやすみなさい。アキに。
I ended the call and set my phone down. Everything had turned out the way I'd hoped, but I still didn't feel satisfied. Korona wasn't mad at all. I thought she would be upset, or at least gloomy about what had happened. But she wasn't either. It felt more like she regretted what had happened. Maybe she realized how rash she had been as well. Things had happened unexpectedly, and she just kind of reacted. A freak accident, so to speak. One could say that the truth she'd been hiding had slipped out, though. She'd probably been hiding it so that I wouldn't notice. But she accidentally let the cat out of the bag. To her, that had been a big mistake. Even so, the truth remains that I hurt her. The only thing I should worry about was trying to make her feel better tomorrow. I didn't know if I could make up for what I had done, but I wanted her to be able to face her test in a good mood.
空ミク、コロナちゃんが来たみたいだよ。
Kotaro was barking outside again. It seemed as though the manager had started associating Kotaro's barking with Korona arriving. Yesterday he was barking because Saya was here.
小太郎の吠え方が違うんだよ。
I couldn't hear any difference, but she was probably right, which meant that Korona was outside. I suppose I'll punch out then.
目いっぱい楽しんでおいで。
I took off my apron and handed it to her before walking outside.
グルナあっち行け。
Korona over here! Korona darted behind me to get away from the dog. Kotaro seemed to be confused at Korona's sudden disappearance. I know you just want attention, but you shouldn't bark so much! Kotaro seemed to really like Korona, but he wasn't doing a very good job of showing it.
アキにもういいでしょ。そろそろ行こう。
We'll be going in a minute.
なんで？遅 外寒いし、早く中入ろうよ。
Just be patient. The bus will be here in a couple
バ
minutes.
ス？
Kono and I boarded the bus for the Hoshino shopping district when it arrived.
あきに、なんでバス乗ったの？
Did you think we were going to talk in my room?
うん。
She still didn't seem to understand what was going on. She'd been looking at me with a nervous expression on her face since we'd gotten on the bus.
もしかして、コロナがやらかしたせいで、部屋に出入り禁止に。
No, that's not it. I just thought we could go out and do something fun today. Do you not want to?
そんなことないけど、あきにはそれでいいの？この前、あんなことがあったのに。
She'd been acting like it was bothering her, but apparently like it wasn't bothering her, but apparently it had. I got the feeling that she was unsure about how to act around me. Of course, it was my idea after all.
あきに、
But if you don't want to go, we can go off at the next stop and head back. Get off, not go off.
嫌じゃないから、大丈夫だからそんなこと言わないで。お出かけするんだよね。つまり、あきにとデートできるんでしょ？大歓迎だよ。
Guess she had been trying to consider my feelings as well. It seemed slightly forced, but she approved of the idea enthusiastically. Thanks, Korona. Felt a little relieved. I want things to continue this way so we could get rid of the awkward distance that had formed between us.
おー、ハーバータウンだ。
Got off the bus and stood in the middle of Harbor Town. Korona let out a shout of excitement as she looked around. You've been here plenty of times, haven't you?
来てるよ。お店だっていろいろ知ってるし。でも、まさかアキニーと一緒に来れるとは思ってなかったもん。やったー！コロナ大勝利！
It's great that she was happy and all, but I was standing right there.
ごめんなさい。つい興奮しちゃって。
Glad that you're excited. It was way better than her being disappointed. As long as she had fun and was able to go into her test in a good mood. Whoops.
デートはデートでも、ハーバータウンとは、これって本気デートってことじゃん。
For girls in Hoshinonaka, Harbor Town was the big date spot. Apparently, if you came here on a date, it was a pretty big deal.
よく見たらアキニーの服もいつもより気合入ってるし。
Well, I can't very well bring a girl to a place like Harbor Town in my normal clothes.
そうと知ってれば、コロナも本気コロナに変身したのに。
You look nice with what you're wearing. You never just throw on whatever it is easy like I do.
アキニーに褒められちゃった。
Like, he's just absolutely... he's just hating her with one line after the other right now. Was it too much?
嬉しいからもっと褒めて。
You look very cute today. She'd only just arrived and she was already swooning. Was a little worried that where things were going to go from here. Well, we didn't come here to just stand around talking all day. Shall we get going? Korona answered enthusiastically and bobbed along after me as we began
アキ
walking.
ニー、せっかくなんだし、腕とか組んじゃう？
That might be a little too much.
じゃあって、それくらいならいいでしょ？
She started walking so close that her body was touching mine. I know it's something a girlfriend would do, but there wasn't much I could do. I guess that would be alright. Compared to locking arms, holding hands didn't seem like a big deal at all. That's how she gets you. That's how she gets you. That's actually a trick. Like, always, if you want someone to agree with something that is even somewhat reasonable, first offer something that is way more unreasonable. Because in comparison, the thing you actually want is going to sound reasonable. And that actually increases the chance that the other party will agree to your proposition. That it's something that actually is a concept.
いいの？やったー！
Like, Korona's smart. She very smart. She jumped up and down in excitement before throwing her arms around me in a hug. I'd only thought about her as a little sister until then, but I couldn't help thinking about the fact that she was a girl who actually clung to me. Korona, calm down, I can't walk like
あ
this.
ごめんごめん。ついはしゃいじゃった。
She backed off a little, though.
それじゃあ、秋にって。
I reached out and took her hand. My first thought was how small her hands were.
まあ、それじゃ握手だよ。それだと歩きにくいってば。だからね、こうするの。
Korona showed me the proper way to hold hands. She stood next to me and grabbed my hand so that we could walk side by side.
これならいいでしょ
It is. Thank you for the lesson. Having never held someone's hand like this before, it felt fresh.
じゃあ行こ
She pulled me forward as if she were the one in the lead. As she did, she used the motion to deftly switch her grip. Slipping her fingers between mine, she tightened her grip on my hand. Smart.
う。嫌だった
No, it's fine.
じゃあこれで。
He smiled widely and moved to pull me forward once again. Korona, wait.
やっぱりダメだった
No, that's not it. Do you know where we're going?
言われてみたらそうでした。
She laughed
それ
awkwardly.
で、これからどこに連れてってくれるの
I thought we'd get some lunch
お
first.
昼ご飯か。
Have you already eaten?
まだ。でも、コンビニご飯のつもりだったから、お金が。
She showed me a wallet. She had a single 1,000 yen bill and some
こ
change.
ういうとこのご飯って、結構するよね。
Don't worry, I'm paying today. This time I opened my wallet to show her.
ゆきちだ
I don't usually carry this around this much, but today is
で
special.
も、いいのアキ兄に出してもらうのは気が引けるんだけど。
Just think of it as an apology for the other day. How's that? I figured Korona would be more willing to agree to that, than I had tried saying it as the guy's job. Then if I had tried saying it was the guy's job to pay in situations like this. Why does that
そうになろうか
not work in my head right now?
アキ兄、ありがとうございます。
This time she thanked me properly without getting overly excited. She really was a good kid. I was starting to understand why Urihime had taken such a liking to her. It took more than cuteness and a bubbly personality to win over Orihime. You know what? We're gonna end the part here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And see you next time. Bye bye. I know it's a short one. Again, I'm sorry. Sometimes it just do be like that. Bye.